Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel, Easy Sewing with Tyke. My name is Taiwo. Here on the channel today, I'll be showing you how to make a six-piece skirt with the perfect fit. Okay, so to all my returning subscribers, thank you for always coming back. I appreciate you all. And to first-time viewers, you're welcome. Thank you for stopping by. You will love it here. Now you're here to subscribe. Yes, you. I mean you. What are you waiting for? Kindly hit that subscribe button, like this video as you would gain value. I can assure you, put on the post notification in order not to miss out on anything from this channel. Share, you don't want to enjoy all of this goodness alone. Okay, now let's get started. So today we'll be looking at two methods of achieving this six pieces or six panel skirt. Actually, there are more methods. I do know of three methods, but today we'll be looking at two methods only. So I want you to be open-minded and just follow this carefully. You would understand. So in case you don't understand this first part, then just hold on till we get to the second part. I'm sure by the time you're at the end of this tutorial, you would understand. So there are a few things that you need to know. This is how a six panel skirt is supposed to look like. What it just means that the skirt is divided into six parts. So here is the front. You can see that it is divided into three, and the back too would be divided into three like that. So 3 plus 3, we have 6. That is how we arrived at the six panel skirt. Okay, upper part there is the waistline. That's the waist area, then followed by the hip line. The hip line, that's the biggest part of this skirt, and afterwards we have the knee line. This is actually like 2 or 3 inches above your knee area. That's the knee line. Then we have the hem of the skirt. So we need to do some quick calculation. We need to divide our round measurement, that's the waist, the hip and the knee measurement, into 6 places, but you cannot just divide them into 6 equal places. Okay, so here is how to go about that. For the waistline now, the waist that we're working with is 32, and for that center panel, the width is already like a standard. It's just best to make use of your bust span measurement. That's just the best thing to do, and the bust span measurement that we're working with is 7. And you know this is only for the front part of the skirt. So you first need to divide your waist measurement into 2. That is 16 for the front and 16 for the back. Now that we have 16 for the front, we have to divide that 16 into 3, right? So, and we already know the width of the center panel because we are making use of a standard, which is the bust span, and the bust span in this case is 7 inches. So just go ahead and subtract 7 from 16. We are left with 9 inches. We are left with 9 inches. So that 9 inches now, you will now divide it into 2, and that will give us 4.5. So it means at the first panel at the right there, we have 4.5 in width. At the center, we have 7, and at the other side, we have 4.5. When you total that together, you have 16 inches for the front, and of course it's the same thing at the back as well. For the hip, we are following the same process. So the hip that we're working with is 40. We have to divide it into 2, so we have 20. This 20 now will divide it into 3, and already the center is 7 inches because we are working with the standard, which is the bust span. 20 minus 7, we have 13. 13 divided by 2, now we have 6.5 on both sides. So 6.5 plus 7 plus another 6.5 is going to give us 20 inches for the front, and when we do the same thing, it's going to give us 20 inches for the back. So you can see that it's quite easy. Now we proceed to the knee. For the knee, depending on how tapered, how fitted you want it around that knee, but on a minimum, subtract 2 inches from your hip measurement to get your knee circumference. That is 38. So we just go through the same process again. 38 divided by 2 is 19. 19 minus 7 is 12. 12 divided by 2 is 6. So it means on the right panel we have 6 inches, center we have 7, and at the left panel we have 6 inches. All that totals to 19 for the front and 19 for the back. So the lower part, which is the hem area, you can see that it is wider than the upper part. So now this depends on the amount of fabric you're actually working with. On a minimum, you can make it double of what you have at the upper part. for example, that center area now, which is 7, you can have 14, but I won't advise you to do that. For the purpose of this tutorial, I will make mine 22 inches. So now let's start the second method, where we transfer all the measurements we did in the first method simultaneously. So remember that I said I want the lower part of my panel to be 22 inches. So that's why I have my fabric unfold that way into 11. 22 divided by 2 is 11. 22 divided by 2 is 11. So I'm starting out with the center front first. I'm cutting out the center front first. So like every other outfit, let's start to impute the length, the vertical measurement. So I'm going to measure out the length of the skirt first, and I'll be adding 1 inch allowance. Afterwards, I'm going to measure out the waist to the hip. That upper chalk line, that yellow chalk line, represents the waistline. So I'm going to mark out the waist to the hip. Then I'm going to mark out the waist to the above knee, which is 18.5. And I'm going to roll all of that across. Again, here is the waistline. That is the waist to the hip line, the waist to the above knee, and the waist to the full length. The waist to the full length plus 1 inch allowance. Remember that we are cutting out the center front first. And I said that it is just better to work with a standard for the width of the center front, which is the bust pan. And the bust pan in this case is 7 inches. So 7 divided by 2, because our fabric is unfold, is 3.5. So on the waistline, I'm going to mark out 3.5. On the hip line, 3.5. And on the knee line, 3.5. Then I'm going to just roll a straight line across like so. Then from the knee area, I just have to connect it to the hem this way in form of like an A shape. So I'm just going to place my ruler this way and connect it to the very end of the hem. And again, the hem is 22 inches wide, 11 inches unfold. So which I'll go ahead and add ½ inch joining allowance at the side, all the way from the waist all the way to the hem. Then I'm also going to add ½ inch at the waist area that way to attach my band. Now that we are done cutting the center front, it's time to move over to the side panel. The side panel. And remember that the center front, I actually cut it on fold. But for the side panel, I'm not going to cut it on fold. It's going to be opened. Okay, so just follow through. Now I want to cut the side. The 2 sides for the front and the 2 sides for the back. That is 4. I'll be cutting mine together, that simultaneously. So my fabric is folded into 4. My fabric is folded into 4 here. So when your fabric has been laid out this way, the first thing you want to do is to measure out half of the total hem width. Remember that the hem we have 22 and half of it is 11. So you want to measure 11 that way and just rule a straight line. You can see that chalk line that I've ruled out already. Yes, that is 11 inches away. So because that line now is representing the red marker on our paper diagram, that's where we are going to join the center front to the side. Then at the other side that way, I have 15 inches. I have 15 inches. So in total, I have that will be 26. Yes, 11 plus 15, that is 26. Afterwards, just like we did for the center front, go ahead and put in all your vertical measurement, the waist to the hip, the waist to the knee, and the full length. Now bring in the center front. Remember that we have 3.5 already at the waist area. You are just going to move 3.5 away. Just put the 3.5 mark on that chalked line, then mark in the waist measurement, which is 32. 32 divided by 4 is 8. And when you place it this way, you're going to have 8.5. 8 inches being 32 and the ½ inch that we have already added to the center front for the joining. So you can see that it's accurate. Now when we take it away and measure what we have left there, we have 4.5, which is the same figure we got when we were calculating. So if you had calculated yours, you just have to be imputing it, just have to be imputing those measurements there. But if you have not calculated yours, then you can go ahead and do it this way. Same thing for the hip. Just place your 3.5 mark there here and measure out the hip line. Again, when I measure it, I have 6.5, which is the exact thing that we measured. Now I'm going to repeat the same process for the knee area, after which I'll go ahead and add 2 inches allowance at the waistline, at the hip line, but at the knee I'm only going to add 1 inch allowance, because you don't want to have too much allowance at that side. You do not want it to be bulky, okay? So 1 inch is fine. Then I'm just going to connect everything together like so, after which I'm going to extend the nail line that way. So remember, I said this chalk line represents where the center front and the side front and the side panel will be joined together. So you want to go ahead and add ½ inch all the way at that side as well. So I'll be adding the ½ inch all the way from the waist to the knee. Then when I get to the knee, I'm going to connect it to the hem like an A shape, just like we did for the center panel. I'm going to do this at this side, and I'm going to repeat the same thing at the other side as well. I'll go ahead and add ½ inch to the waistline, that way to join the band to the skirt. So I'm gonna need to cut it out. Now I have 5 pieces. Remember, I just cut 4 pieces together at the same time, and the center front has 5. So this is the 3 front panel. So what is left now is the center back. To cut the center back is easy. You just want to cut the same thing you have at the center front, but this time around you're going to add your zipper allowance to it. So I'm going to go ahead and do the bum contour. That is removing ½ inch at the waist area, then removing ½ inch at the knee line also, and connecting everything to the hip line, just as you can see in this video, and as I've done in my previous videos as well. Once I'm done doing this, I'm going to cut it, and I've gone ahead to cut the lining and the band. So the band that I have here is 4 inches. By the time I'm done joining, I'll be left with 1.5. So that's for the front, and for the back I'm going to go ahead and stabilize it by adding an interface of choice. So for the lining, I only cut an half lining all the way to the knee. It's not a full lining, so you can choose to do you. Now it's time to sew. Now I've gone ahead to join the 3 pieces for the back together. We'll move over to the sewing machine, and I'll show you how to join the 3 pieces for the front together. It is the same thing. So this is how it looks after joining. You can see how full the lower part is. This is how it is at the inner part. So this is how I like to join my own 6 pieces. I joined it together with the lining. You can also choose to join the lining separately, join the main fabric separately before placing it together at the side. That way all this sewing would have been enclosed, okay? But this is how I prefer to do mine. Now I'll go ahead and place one side panel on top of the center panel with the fabric facing each other, with the right side of the fabric facing each other and the lining facing you. Then I'll go ahead and sew it using ½ inch, the ½ inch that was added when we were sewing from top to bottom, like so. Once I'm done with this, I'm going to place the second side beside the center front like so, and go ahead and join it two together. That way I've successfully coupled the 3 panel for the front, and this is what I have. So this is me just checking what I have after sewing. You can see that it is 7 inches, and the total that I have there covers the waistline and the sewing allowance. So I'm on the right track. The next thing to do now is to attach the already interfaced band. So I'll be sewing it using ½ inch like so. You can attach your band using any method, but this is my preferred method. Once I've sewn it at one part like this, I'm going to go ahead and measure out the band height, which is the 1.5. Then I'm going to fold it over like so. You can see that I've held it down using my pins. Then I'll make sure that the sewing is enclosed that way, and I'm just going to fold this over it neatly, after which I will sew over it like so. I will sew as close as possible to the joining that is there, so that I can achieve a neat finish. I've also attached the band to the back. The next thing to do now is to attach the zipper. Just like I do on this channel, I'll be placing the zipper on my fabric this way, the right side of the zipper facing the right side of the fabric. Then I'm going to go ahead and sew it at the 2 sides like so. This is it, the zipper has been neatly attached. The next thing to do now is to place the front on the back, the front three panel on the back three panel, and join it together at the side so you can see how it is. There's no excess, everything matches up. So I'm going to go ahead and input the waist measurement, the hip measurement, and the knee measurement. Then I'm going to sew it all the way from the waist all the way to the hem. Now this is what we have so far. The final thing to do now is just to hem it, to sew it off at the hem. But you cannot just sew it off straight that way unless you are fine with this shape that it has. So if you look at the part where we joined, the place where you join the center panel to the side panel, you will see that you have like a V shape there, and we want it to be round. So you have to trim this off like so. You just want to come up by 1 inch or half inch and just shape it like so. Just follow through with what you can see me do on the screen, so that you can have a curvy look there and not that sharp V edge. And now I can go ahead to hem. So because it is curvy, I'm not going to fold the hem twice as I would if it was the hem was straight. So I'm going to fold it once. When I'm done folding it once, then I'll go ahead and fold it the second time. This way it is easy to hem and it will come out neat, since where I'm folding is curvy and not straight. Now this is how the hem looks like. You can say it is curvy and it does not have that sharp V shape anymore. Yes, this is what I was hoping to achieve. That will be all for today. Now, did you gain value? Did you learn something new? Did you enjoy the tutorial? If the answer to all of this is yes, then kindly let me know in the comment below. Hit the like button, also share. Okay, you don't want to enjoy all of this alone, and subscribe if you are yet to. You can also follow me on other social media platforms. It's Easy Sewing with Tyke. Till I see you in my next tutorial. Bye.